Hi, it's John and welcome to the channel. It is Friday, June the 20th. It is now 6 a.m. and it is the first day of summer. So let's tip the big blue mug to the first day of summer. Hope you're having a great day today. If you're in Australia, too bad. We have to deal with winter here for almost 6 months in the Calgary area. Nice to have you along today. I do appreciate it. If you're subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please just click on subscribe. Thank you very much. So today, my second video, I'll put a card at the end of this video so you can watch the video I put out earlier today. I had some fun with it. I hope you'll give it a bit of love and give it a like because it was fun to put together. But today I got a little bit of inspiration from Moose on the Loose. First off, what the young people are doing on YouTube is absolutely amazing. Moose on the Loose is just remarkable young man. I think of Jasmine Lane, the Pleb. I think of many others online who are doing incredible things. If I were in broadcasting today, and I was for 35 years, I would not be working for a big corporation as a radio announcer. I wouldn't be doing it. I'd be doing YouTube. I got paid crap for years. I worked a lot of my own hours to get nothing out of it. I feel rather successful in what I did. I was a small market radio announcer for years, but I lived a good life. So I'm pretty happy with that. But what the young people are doing is amazing. So watch Moose on the Loose and subscribe to these people. You know, back during the election campaign, I did a video on how Poilievre should have been on all of their podcasts and all of their shows. I know he did Jasmine Lane eventually, but he should have been on all of them to get his message out to millions of people, get millions of hits. These people are getting more views than CTV and CBC. It's remarkable. So I move on now. So I watched Moose on the Loose this morning for some inspiration. He showed a video of Mark Carney in a news conference. And Mark Carney was asked about Alberta independence. Of course, I'm interested in that. But it was his answer that was rather revealing to me in a couple of different ways. I don't think Moose on the Loose got into this. Obviously, Carney wasn't prepared for the question, which you'll see when I play his answer. I'm not going to play the whole answer because just like liberals do, they get into the word salad and they say a lot of words which mean nothing. I guess most politicians are that way. But let me show you this clip, the question, the answer, and there are really three things I take out of this. One regarding the independence movement, but two others regarding Mark Carney and the Liberal playbook. Two things. It's the only two things Mark Carney and the Liberals have right now that's keeping them afloat. So watch this.
Secondly, I'd like to turn to talk of making Canada an energy superpower.
Yep.
Danielle Smith has said, there could be a referendum next year, and the legislation around that is 170,000 people can put that on the ballot. Brian Mulroney once perhaps referred to rolling the dice with the future of Canada. Is it appropriate for that few people to put the fate of a G7 nation in the balance?
I see what you're trying to do, the province of Alberta, provinces make determinations on the rules governing referenda, voter plebiscites, other factors, and they can make determination on how they come into force. Determinations on broader issues of referenda on federal level, including supported by Supreme Court decisions, are governed by the Clarity. I will refer to the Clarity Act. But look, what we're interested in, what Canada's new government's interested in, what Parliament, I think most parliamentarians are interested in, is building this country, not breaking it apart. It's working together, working with Indigenous peoples, working with provinces, working with labor, working with business. We have many, we have this threat, this realizing from the U.S. that regardless of what outcome we get, it matters what agreement we get, but it's changing the world of trade. It is changing the outlook for the global economy in not just immediate, but the medium term.
Just from that short soundbite of Carney, first off, it sounded like he was unprepared for a question about the independence movement here in Alberta, which I find surprising. He had to realize that this was going to come up. But he really doesn't have an answer to the independence movement out here right now. He doesn't know what to say. And I'm glad. Just ignore us, Mr. Carney. We're not even out here in Alberta wanting to make an independent country. Just ignore us. To my recollection, in 95 during the referendum in Quebec, Jean Chrétien did a very similar thing. It seemed he didn't pay much attention to it until the very end. And I believe Jean Charest at the time became a national figure because he stepped in to speak on behalf of Canada, him being a Quebecer himself. And he was the voice, I think, that may have kept Quebec from leaving Canada back then. I don't think that Carney and the Liberal Party and the Canadian government's going to ignore the independence movement until the end. To the contrary. We provide a lot of money to Canada, a lot of money. We have a lot of resources out here that they desperately need. So expect them to try to undermine the independence movement. Corey Morgan touched on this the other day, one of his videos. Some people came up to him, seemed a little bit crazy. I think there will be people who will try to undermine the independence movement out here by labeling a lot of us racist, hicks, rednecks. Just like they tried to label Pierre Poilievre, and people didn't vote for Poilievre because he walked by a door that had a diagolon symbol drawn on with a dry erase marker. That's going to happen. There are millions of people who want independence for Alberta, but they will try to sway the voters who are on the edge by using the ists and isms. So that's something I find surprising for that. But the other thing that's interesting about this is the Liberal Party of Canada has only got two things going for them right now. I did a video the other day talking about how people will stick with Mark Carney because they think he's the next coming of Christ for almost, I had this back and forth online this morning with somebody who thought Carney was being a boss because he's going to impose counter tariffs if Donald Trump doesn't have a deal with him in the next 30 days. And here's this, back and forth on X this morning. But my question to this person is, why didn't he say this to Donald Trump? He was standing in front of the man just a couple of days ago because he's a coward. Because Donald Trump carries a big stick. But Mark Carney has only got Donald Trump. He's only got that issue that's keeping him alive, and it plays to his base. I did a video ages ago on how Carney needed a crisis. The crisis was the tariffs. I said this back in January. We had a tariff issue. The Liberals needed the tariffs in order to bring up their poll numbers to win an election. It worked to great effect. They need the tariffs to continue. They're doing that with the supply management thing. There's been stories about this. Here's Lily talking about Carney's team putting up roadblocks to trade deal with the U.S., the digital services tax, and supply management. These are major stumbling blocks for a trade deal with the United States, and Carney is doing his best to put these in front of Donald Trump and say F you to him. The tariff issue needs to continue for as long as possible so they can keep their numbers high and their popularity high because it plays to their base. The other thing they have is the building the country thing. We're not talking about separation. We're not talking about breaking up the country. We're Canada strong. And that's the only other thing Carney and the Liberals have. The only other thing. So what happens when these things go poof? Because I don't think they're going to build the country. I've said that here. He doesn't want oil and gas. He doesn't want pipelines. They put a roadblock up on that already. What is it called? Bill C-5, I believe. Where they're going to control what gets built, and they're not going to have any oversight to what gets built at all. So I don't think that's going to happen. Building the country, that is going to die eventually. And Carney's base won't have that to latch onto. And the Donald Trump thing will eventually work its way out, but the Liberals are going to play this to the hilt. They need Donald Trump because it's the thing that got them elected and it keeps them popular. As soon as those two things go poof, like I said, we're getting closer down the way to a vote of non-confidence. And you'll start to maybe see some of the numbers and polling numbers for the Liberals come down. The Conservatives have to get themselves straightened out. The NDP has no money. The Conservatives spent a lot of money. Right now, if an election were held, the Liberals would win a majority. But that is going to change. But there's going to be some pain for you living in Canada. Meanwhile, the independence movement keep ignoring us, Mr. Carney. Because within the next year, there will be an independence movement out here. And as Corey said, go to Corey Morgan's YouTube channel. Go to the Western Standards YouTube channel, subscribe to them. Great voices for the independence movement, for conservatives here in Canada. Great voices, wonderful people. But as Corey said the other day, this movement is growing. I can feel it. We've heard the numbers are 30% would vote in favor of independence. The numbers are growing out here. Independence is getting closer for Alberta. That's all I got to say. Hope I didn't bore you with my, I don't know whether it's a word salad like the Liberals, but I appreciate you being here. I really do. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Like it. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get to 35,000 here on the channel. And ring the bell for notifications as well. And I'll see you in the next one.